Yeah, yeah. Only talk I do is edifying. They say preach, they say church when I'm testifying.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Here to Edify. I am Astrid.
And I'm Katura.
And this episode is Brown Girls in Luxury. I'm going to kick it off to Katura so she can tell us where this came from, because this is her brainchild, but I think a very important and interesting conversation.
Yeah, so this came to my mind. It's always been kind of like a topic I've debated with people because I see nice things or designer things and I'm like, oh, I want that. And some people will be like, yes, like save your money, get that. And then, you know, some Christians are like, you don't need that. Or you know what you can do with that? You can tie that. You can do. Target got the same thing. All this stuff. So I have like been under this opinion that is it like a not Christian characteristic to like nice things? Mm-hmm. And it's been on my mind more since I joined a Facebook group called Brown Girls in Luxury. And this group is just full of brown women. I won't even just say black women. It's got 35,000 members over that. Goodness. And it's a private group on Facebook of women just sharing their luxuries in life. And so a big topic in there for some days would be like, well, is this considered luxury? Is this considered luxury? But some girls, they know what luxury is. They get in there with their Tom Ford and their Chanel and Gucci purses, perfumes, shoes. I saw some people questioning if they should buy some Chanel cotton swabs that were online.
Oh, my goodness. That's a thing?
Girl, yes. No, they be selling like little basic stuff that's designer so you could feel special for a budget price. Wow. And then there's like girls in there that are like, I like to mix the high and low. I got this Target jumpsuit on under my Hermes belt that cost $1,000. And I'm like, okay, you know, do you. Yeah. But anyway, I see a lot of brands in there I've never heard of, and I like the group just because I like to see black women thriving. And I'll like point it out sometimes to like maybe a friend or my husband, and he's like, they're not thriving. And I'm like, they are. They fly in private. They fly in either private or they're flying first class Emirates. Like it's just all these people showing all the luxuries in life that they have. So this group is named this podcast is named after this group. There are like some definite wrong heart postures you can have when it comes to luxury. We are not denying that. We're just looking at like, what does the Bible say about luxuries and how can we pursue, or can you pursue that in a Christian way today?
So I guess you can kick us off with our question of,
oh yeah, we've done so much getting to know us already, but get to know us some more. Astrid, if you could have any 2 luxe items right now without price being a factor, what would you get?
For me, it would definitely be a home. I would get if money is not an option, I'm getting my dream house. And
give me some aspects of this dream house. Just maybe.
So we are having we got a nice, big, beautiful kitchen.
Okay.
We got probably, not because I necessarily need it, but we praying for the Lord to provide the family. Gonna probably be about 5 bedrooms. I need that garage, that 2-car garage. A nice backyard. I got to take care of my little, my puppy son. Man, I'm like, I would love to have a nice basement with give us a theater room, just
yes. Money's no object. Get it all. Yes.
Just have a nice foyer. Just just like
I can see you having that house that has the 2 staircases going up the sides.
It's so that the family can come and we can have,
that is so funny. And then in the center is your last name with the circle, like the initial. I see it.
And a big old picture.
I see it. This the family portrait.
Yes, this is who lives here. Oh man, yes, all of those things, but cozy. Very cozy. Not because sometimes when you think of grand, it ends up being cold because it's like the white floors or all of that, but homey. Really cozy. And then the second thing for me would be, I initially said a month, but you were like, hey, expand it. So yes, a whole summer of being able to travel abroad, country hop and just eat good food. And again, if money's not an option, I'm like, hey, this outfit I could never find in the States. We're going to pick this up here, or we're going to eat at this place. We're going to,
she going to sleep 5-star everywhere. No hostels, listen, no backpacking.
Right? 5-star everything. We are not even doing Airbnb.
No.
Give me the hotel.
Give me the Ritz in every city.
And the extra towels. All of that. So that would be my 2 quote unquote luxury things. What about you?
I feel you. I also desire a house right now. I'm with you. I need some space. I need the 6 bedrooms. And then I be seeing stuff, and I'm like, that is really a luxury, because I would look up the price. Like, I remember I was on Pinterest, and there was this big living room, and the windows were floor to ceiling, but they were actually like function like a garage door, so you could make it go up and go away, and then you all of a sudden have indoor outdoor living. Oh, wow. And I was like, that seems amazing.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And then I looked it up, and it costs tens of thousands of dollars to do something like that. Yes, but when money's no object, I want stuff like that. And then I don't even remember what I said. Oh, a boat. Y'all, I love being on the water. I would love to have a boat. This means my home that I have has to be near water.
Right,
so
not life.
Not only do I have a house on the water, I need a boat that moves on the water. I love being on boats.
I love that.
Do you have a favorite, like, luxury style icon or celeb? Like, somebody, they be wearing, you don't even know it's all Balenciaga, but it is all Balenciaga. And they just be stunning.
But see, this is why I think this conversation is so interesting, because I don't think I have one. Like, I think that, like, I like nice things, but usually it's not attached to a celebrity or a designer. It is attached to, like, oh, this is unique. You know, like, I was, the other week, I was in, what was that, Banana Republic? And it was just like this specific dress is super cute. I don't care that it's Banana Republic or that it's not. Like, this is cute.
I mean, Banana Republic is a luxury to some. Yes, it is a luxury.
So it stayed on the rack.
It is like Old Navy, Gap, Banana Republic.
Right? And I was like, you know what? We're gonna stay down here in Target World.
Yeah.
And we're gonna wait for maybe that to go on sale.
Yeah. When I thought about this question, I had just finished looking at Tracee Ellis Ross. I really like her style. Yeah. And she's one of those, like, I feel like when people really got it, they don't always have to flaunt it with, like, a Dior print sweater and bag. So I think, that culture has made me hate Dior. But
or baby fat. That's
yes, like she doesn't wear anything that says this is a such and such coat, but you just know, the coat cost $600. Like, it was a lot. And so I really do like her style. Like, but yeah, so that's like nice things. We're talking about nice things, whether they have a brand on them or they don't. The level of brand, it doesn't matter. But do they even talk about nice things in the Bible? Like, do they even? Clearly, Louis wasn't Vuittoning back then. But was there, like, what were they wearing? Like, how did you even tell who had more, who had less? And was that like a God-given thing, or were they all bad people that had all those things?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer that question, but kind of around the way, what I've been thinking about in regard to, like, Christians, luxury, or Christians and super expensive things, because, like I said, sometimes luxury can be misleading, that word. I'm like, well, one, God likes nice things. So Keturah off mic had asked me, I thought of Leviticus because I just read through Leviticus. It wasn't like randomly. That was the reference.
That's such a tough book to get through.
Right? You just exactly. But God is good. It was great. Go read Leviticus. But in Leviticus, there is, God is giving the instruction for the building of, or not the building of, but basically building of the things that will be in the temple, because the temple is a tent in that point in time because they're in the wilderness. And he's telling, well, this is what the priests, the Levites, will be wearing. And it's like, you have, all of these, the altar and like, this is laid in gold. It's like, this is a specific type of nice wood. The robes that the priests will wear, they have stones on them that are like precious stones. And then I was like, well, that's, one Old Testament. But then I think of the New Testament where, like, in my house are many mansions or rooms, whichever version you're reading, or the fact that, like, these are streets laid in gold that is so pure that you can see through it, or the fact that there are literally going to be layers of fine jewels, and so it's like, well, God likes nice things.
He wasn't,
all the things that you would associate with a kingdom, even here on earth, like, even more so in heaven. Like, this is nice, beautiful things. Right. So I think for one, it was, as I was thinking through this, establishing the fact that God likes nice things. So it makes sense that we, as his image bearers, like nice things. But then we go into, like, all right, now what do we do with that, and so on and so forth. But
God doesn't like say his streets are gonna be gold and that's why heaven is better than hell.
Yes.
He doesn't like think he's better than anyone because of the things that he can provide or the things that he has or his access to nice things. So that's an example of how it's different than what we do here on earth, which is like, oh no, I'm better because my sweater is this brand. Yeah.
And it's this thing that makes me, whereas like for him, it is who he is. And so I think that's like a distinction. It's like, yes, God likes nice things. It also makes sense that because he likes nice things, he's a good gift giver because he is God. He's not selfish. He's not like us that may have money, but be like, but I'm gonna go to the cheap store to give this gift because it'll cost me less. Like, nah, he's like, I like nice things. I want to give you the best. You know?
And we have to think about as Christians getting caught up in when he gives us good things, like worshiping him still and not those good things. Yes. Like worshiping the giver, not the gift.
Yes.
And I think we do get caught up in that a lot of like just saying, oh, the Lord blessed me with this ability to get this job, to get this house. And then we start idolizing that job and that house. And instead of being like, Lord, thank you every day. Like I wouldn't have known this without you.
Yeah. And I think that's where we hit the, okay, yes, God likes nice things. Yes, God gives good things. But then it's like, okay, wait, as you just said, hold up. Like, what am I doing with those? And so I will take us to Deuteronomy again, because I'm reading through, guys. This is, where my mind is going.
Two hard books, Leviticus and Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy 8:11 through 14. It says, take care lest you forget the Lord your God by not keeping his commandments and his rules and his statutes, which I command you today, lest when you have eaten and are full and have built good houses and lived in them, and when your herds and flocks multiply and your silver and gold is multiplied and all that you have is multiplied, then your heart be lifted up and you forget the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt. And so essentially he's like, all this stuff is for you. Like I'm giving you, the riches. I'm like, herds and land was luxury, back in the day. And so it's like, I'm giving you all these things, but I'm giving you this with a warning, to don't forget. And then I want to scroll down just a little further to 17 and 18, 17, beginning of 18. It says, beware lest you say in your heart, my power and the might of my hand have gotten me this wealth. You shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth. And so, again, it's just kind of like that's the point where we're like, yes, God gives this, but don't forget that he gives it, and it's like none of this is of my power or of my doing. And the wealth and the increase is all from him. And so therefore, in the wanting of these things, there's the tension that God leaves us with of like, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to make this an idol and be praising these things? Or are you going to be thankful to me, understanding that like, this is grace, that you've given me these luxurious things.
Yeah. And just as able as the Lord is to giveth, he is able to taketh away.
Look.
And we don't be acting like that all the time.
Job will tell you all about it.
We do not act like that all the time. And so we know that Christians, I feel like we've answered the question, can we have nice things? But should we pursue, say, those luxury things? Like, pursue feels like a weird word. So pursuit, the definition is any occupation, pastime, or the like in which a person is engaged regularly or customarily. And to pursue is to chase after someone or some things. And so, pursue sounds like a habit, like it's a regular thing. Is it a bad thing for it to be a regular thing for you to like be waiting on them shoe drops or to be waiting for the latest bag? Or is that like a not good, healthy way for a Christian to live? Or if you got it and your finances are in order, you have tithed, your family's taken care of, that's okay.
Yeah, I think the issue, well, one, I guess I should say, my answer to this whole question would be like, there is a tension to this. And so there's a lot of aspects of this where it's like, yo, that's case by case. That is, where's your heart? And we can't speak to, because only God knows the heart of man.
True.
But I think like there's an aspect of pursuit that, like you said, it's like, okay, it's regular, it's chasing after, but then there's an aspect of pursuit that's all consuming.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, when I was looking at the word, I'm like, well, we're called to like pursue God.
I was gonna say the only thing you should pursue all-consumingly is Christ.
Exactly. And so it's like, when that pursuit looks like all-consuming and it's not pointed in the direction of God, well, then it's like, hey, this is red flag territory, either for me to be like, yo, I got to get it together, or for us to lovingly grab the friend, grab the family, grab the whoever and be like, hold up, like, lest you fall, do not go out here, forgetting God because you have these things. Because we've all heard, like, we don't quote unquote need God until life gets rough.
Yep.
Not realizing that like he's the one that has given us all of these. He's sustaining this, so we need him even in the abundance. Yes, but we don't be pursuing him. You forget
that your job is not sustaining it. You and your spouse are not sustaining it. Yeah.
And there's a podcast that I was listening to more recently, and they were dealing with the subject matter of like to gain the world and lose your soul. And so the fact that like, again, there's a tension to this because there is a real reality where you gain all of this luxury at the price of your soul. And I think it is important to acknowledge that like this is not always I knew I was trading this for my soul. Like there's a reality where like you really are thinking like, nah, I have all these nice things and I'm saying I love Jesus, so we good. Like we so easily be like, won't he do it? And it's like, yes, that is fun, but do you know who you're talking? Like like there is a real reality where like, you're able to acquire all these things, but never truly in a real heart posture, ascribe it to God's graciousness.
And then, in the midst of like, okay, I didn't make it. It's not all-consuming pursuit. Maybe it's just like there is this diamond necklace I saw, and I really want that. Is it wrong for me to like start saving for that? Like that's what like I make a savings goal for it. Is that technically a pursuit? Is that a bad thing?
No. I don't think so. I think in the same way that one would plan to buy a home, to live in, that one would plan to buy a car,
and nobody looks at you sideways for doing that.
Yeah. And so I think that, and that's again why I was actually too having a conversation about something completely different, but the bottom line was like, we shouldn't really be doing anything out of, I'm afraid of what people think. Yes, you do consider people, but ultimately like where the fear should come from is like, well, how does God feel about this? And so there is a space where it's like, if I feel like God is giving me peace and he's like, hey, because also that diamond necklace, you don't know if I've been saving like $5 for 5 years, right, or $100 for 2 weeks. Like
all you do is see it pop up and make your comment that's out of pocket. Yeah, that's all you do. That's all anybody does. Nobody could. So you don't know. So someone could be like, "What'd you spend all that money?" But you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know the backstory.
And I could hear like some people. Like I just thought about. BJ asked me the other day, like, what are some things that I want? Like, we don't really need for anything, thank the Lord. But I was just like, if I was being extra and get everything that I wanted right now, one of the things at the top of the list would be like a custom diamond chain. He was like, what? And I was like, yeah, but like, I don't run in circles where anybody else got a custom diamond chain. So, I mean... That's what made me say they calling me bougie, but I be in Target. But then they really gonna blow their minds and call themselves call me bougie when I'm walking up with this chain that's got like my name. But I was like, you know what? I can't worry about it. So just how you talking about you can't worry about the fear of man and like getting things. You can't worry about the fear of man and refraining from things. Do you? Yeah. That's all I gotta say. Do you?
No, completely. So we've already hit on like it being a heart posture.
Yes, it's just a matter of like, is it your idol? Which we talked about that too, kind of. Just this chain, I can't let it consume me. Like he had no idea what I wanted because I don't sit up and talk about what I want all day. Like I have the desire, but it's not consuming me. It's not something that I repeatedly nag about or complain that I haven't gotten.
I can't be me without this gold chain.
Yeah, and we have other savings that like I would never consider buying the. What do I want? There's this $5,000 Louis bag I want right now. But like, I'm not gonna dip into our savings and go get it. Like
Yeah.
that's putting our family into a funky situation. So I was like, that's the difference between, I think, like a healthy desire or pursuit for something luxurious and then not healthy. Like, what are you willing to do for it, or are you willing to just like wait on your moment? And a lot of times I find myself waiting on something, and I'm like, well, by the time I get the $5,000 bag now, Louis gonna drop another one that's popping, and it's gonna be $5,000. So let me just hold on a second.
Yeah. Like, do I still want it? I was watching a YouTuber, and he was he's a Christian YouTuber, and they were just talking about their family. They had gone on a trip to, it was like a staycation, and they stayed in an Airbnb that was kind of like their dream home. And so this home had a tennis court. This home had a pool. It was like they were living their best life. And the kids loved it. You know, they were like, oh, can we trade homes, Dad? Like, you know, like that's right. We could do that, right?
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works. But, you know, like really enjoying it. And he was just really sitting back and admiring the fact that like his little brown kids are like in this space, and they aren't feeling like, oh, we can't have this because of who we are. Like, you know, it felt like something that they could really enjoy. And then at the end of the vlog, he was like, you know, we, in the next life, you know, we are promised good things. Why not get used to them now? And so that was just interesting. That, you know, like the comment was interesting, something to definitely chew on. But then I was thinking, even just that situation of him being like, man, I want this for my family. Like, I want, like, we have a nice, beautiful home now, but I want to keep working and being able to get to a point where we can have the pool, we can have the tennis court, you know, in the back of our house. And so on one side, someone can be like, well, you don't need that. No, there are a lot of things we don't need.
And I don't think he was saying he'll be crushed if he never gets it.
Exactly. But like working towards it. And so I think that was like a beautiful, for me, just kind of example of, this is a man that is like working towards a goal. And ultimately, as he's working towards that goal, it's like, Lord, you know, if you see fit to bless, then please bless me with this. You know, like you said, but if it doesn't happen, I don't think he's going to fall apart, because he realizes the importance of, you know, family over this home. But still, like, that's an example of like, you can, like, we can work towards things. Like, we can work for better. We can work for the nicer job, you know, or, you know, I've been rocking with this car, you know, for the past 20 years. Now I want, you know, my nice Tesla.
And still acknowledging that it's like, you can work for it, but at the end of the day, how it all falls is like not in your hands. I think I struggled a while with, God, why does so-and-so get this talent that gives them access to these things that lets them live this life that I want? Or why does so-and-so get this these parents, and that's why they have the life they have, or the spouse that they have, that's why they have the life they have. And I'm like, that's your will. So you willed that to happen like anything else, but it was not your will for that to be my life. Like, why? And so it was in Job. They were talking about, I say they, you know, those random voices in Job. They're not all Job.
His three friends.
Yeah. Apparently in Job, they touched on that though. Like, it's just like, yeah, it's God's will, but like, he has a reason, he has a purpose. And I really struggled with questioning that for a while. But when you get into, so when you're working for that pool, like the man or the tennis court, whatever, just keep in mind that like, you also need to be praying, hey, Lord, align my will, my desires with your will. And that will help you a lot, because your desire for that tennis court might go away because he doesn't have that in his like plans for you. I think if you consistently, like, you can have these things in your head, but the more that you pray, Lord, like, just have your will be done, then you will find yourself also content and satisfied with whatever he has given you.
I think that is like, that hits the nail on the head of just like, align, like, Lord, align my desires too. And I think that like, if you are desiring something that you're like, ooh, I don't know, well then like, we'll go pray about it, you know, like, take that to the Lord.
If you're supposed
like,
to have it, he'll let you know. He'll show you.
Like, take a minute, like, pause. You don't have to go run out, get it right away. But I think, like, that prayer of would your desires for me be my desires for me. And I think honestly, it's something that I am working on, is like, Lord, give me a greater understanding of eternity, of like the riches that I will have in heaven as an heir to the throne of God, that will affect then how I move in this life, where I understand that like, no, God is not calling us all to live in poverty and, you know, just nothingness.
Right.
But it's kind of just like, just going with the process of like, this, it just makes me think of the phrase like trouble don't last always. And it doesn't have to be trouble, but it's like, this is not, by the grace of God, the hope that we have. This is not the forever. So there's an aspect of like, God is good to allow us to see his goodness in the land of the living, but to know that ultimately, even if I have the mansion, even if I have the, you know, time and span to spend a whole summer, you know, just gallivanting abroad, like ultimately, that's not going to fulfill me like what I am looking forward to.
Exactly.
And so, and that is a question, a prayer of like, Lord, put these things into perspective. It's not like someone tells you this and now you just don't want these things anymore. Like, no, it is like a constant, Lord, help me, because like I said, we want nice things, you know, we're like, I want that. You know, and for every person, it's different what that thing is.
We are particular and we like quality.
Yeah. And so just
at least us two do. Everybody's different.
Yes.
But no, I think that's good. I think that's two good final points to remember. Like, pray the Lord's will over your life and that your desires align with his. Keep your eyes, what is that verse? Colossians 3:2. Keep your minds on the things of heaven, not the things of earth. And also make sure you check your heart posture and why you try to pursue things. So just make sure that you are not trying to stunt on folks, or you're not doing it out of jealousy or out of fear. And for goodness sake, don't put you or anyone else in a bad financial situation trying to do something or get something that's not necessary. But I'm glad we talked about this. I think it's a much needed topic, especially in this good old holiday season. Don't feel no pressures because all these pictures of y'all that you see of such and such a tree that got all these boxes under it. Or some people are going as far as like to not wrap nothing. You're going to see this Gucci bag and the box that it came in. You don't need no wrapper. That's the wrapper. But don't let that make you feel no kind of way. You know, like all you need this season is you and the Lord. And if you have family, that's a luxury. So
no, like it really is. And I think it's just one of those things where like, don't put yourself in the poorhouse for something that like, that bag is going to get old one day.
Yes,
that toy,
like
them kids gonna stop playing with
every
it, okay?
season, y'all.
Make
Fall and
2
winter,
cents.
spring and summer. They got a new fashion show for every single one. They be going out of style.
So all of these things are, you know, like they're perishable. They're not going to be forever. And again, I'm not saying all this to sound all high and like we still want it. We still, you know, going to go after these things, but an acknowledgement that like, you know, I can get the 2022 Tesla. It's not going to be still rocking like it, you know, like it was in 2030, you know? And so it's like an understanding of like what really matters, you know? And please don't stunt for Christmas. Please don't, especially if it hurts your pockets and hurts you. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
No. Well, thank you for joining us again for this episode of Here to Edify. I'm Katura.
And I am Astrid. And we hope to catch you listening next time.
Yeah. Only talk I do is edifying. They say preach, they say church when I'm testifying. Hear you running at the mouth, that's a lot of mileage.